Tyler, can you take us to the genesis of this offense and when you guys first started thinking about this 5 out and how you kind of came up with it or thought about it?
Yeah, for us, everything's about spacing. So we actually tried to get a little away from our 5 out to what we call our three low spacing. So you're trying to see the dunker occupied at all times. And for us, like the question we're always asking is like, what is our biggest strength? So like going into a game, we're trying to leverage our biggest strength, and then like what is their biggest weakness? Our guys have done an unbelievable job game to game adjusting to that, and that's going to be something as we go forward we have to maintain. We talk a lot about leveraging advantages and like flowing from one action to the next, and like obviously produce switch 5 ways, so you get to watch someone be individually impressive. In Washington, like if they're in coverage, we got to get back to what we call the blender. So just leveraging spacing and advantages.
You seem like a student of the games, I've heard to say. Are there some offenses or teams or coaches that you've studied in kind of putting this together?
Yeah, I think we pull from everywhere. The game's always evolving. I think understanding we try to make our math work. I think the biggest thing we're doing right now is offensive rebounding. You look at the NBA, offensive rebounding is at an all-time high. So that's going to continue to be something that we emphasize. Obviously, growing up around my dad, I don't think he gets near enough credit for the offensive mind he is. We had shooting 5s at Stephen F. Austin, and just seeing the pressure that was able to put on the defense, it's a testament to the team we were able to put together. The pieces fit, and when the pieces fit, it allows you to have some of that offensive success, and the guys have bought into it, and a lot of high field guys that love to play with each other.
Can you tell us the story about finding Keaton Wagler and maybe what you saw in him the first time you watched him play?
Yeah, Keaton is obviously from Kansas. I have tons of family ties there. When my dad was at Oklahoma State, Victor Williams was a great player there, was Keaton's AAU coach. We kept in touch over the years. The first thing that stood out to Keaton just watching the tape was, a 6'6" guy that can dribble, pass, and shoot. I think it's a testament to Adam Fletcher and our strength and conditioning program. We feel comfortable taking some of those guys who are maybe underdeveloped physically, right? Like he was 6'6", 160 pounds. Like that is probably why he went under-recruited. But Coach Fletch had a plan. We had a plan for him coming in. He was able to put on 20 pounds. And then you see the natural decision-making, everything that we value in a player, he kind of showcased. But, I don't think any of us thought he was going to come in here and have 46 in Mackey as a freshman.
They put that into context and perspective, 46 at Mackey as a freshman.
Yeah, a lot of credit to him. He just took what the game gave him. We talked about like leverage and understanding what our biggest strength was. They kind of went to a coverage they hadn't shown a ton this year. And that kind of goes back to summer, just like being able to attack coverage on the fly. He became our leverage. He continued to just make the right basketball play. Obviously was extreme level of shot making that you can't expect every single night. But we were fairly comfortable with him shooting off the bounce threes and then offensive rebounding the switches against their guards. So I think it was scouting report execution. He's super comfortable, and he's just going to make the right basketball play. That's something he has to continue to build on as he sees more and more different coverages, and we have to keep finding solutions because there are going to be problems that come up offensively, right? I think that's the thing about offense is defenses are trying to cause problems, so we have to continue to find solutions and figure out what that spacing looks like, and again, keeping our action flowing. I thought there were times we got a little stagnant against Purdue, so areas for improvement.
Late game situations are going your way too. What are those discussions like in the huddle, down the stretch in those tight possession games?
Yeah, I think it's something we have what we call teaching basketball. Zach Hamer does an unbelievable job. We try to have a weekly film session where we're talking through a late game situation. We'll talk through it and then we'll go execute it on the court. So I think the reps, the familiarity, we have a confidence about us just because of our practice reps. Then this team, you have unbelievable veteran presence. Tomislav obviously has made tons of big shots down the stretch. Kylan Boswell has been in all of the big games. And I think the confidence that they exude permeates throughout our team, and there's a level of calmness. But again, I think that gets back to our practice reps and talks as much as anything.
I mean, new this offseason, at least maybe in the way you emphasized it, was gold medal shots.
Yeah.
How did you maybe choose that as a way to kind of show and tell what you wanted offensively?
Yeah, just self-reflection from past years, how can we better teach shot selection? I think it is the most important thing in terms of an efficient offense, so we tried to put it in a simple way. So we talked about gold, silver, and bronzes, and we talk a lot about constraining offense. So like we want offense in practice to be super hard. So we'll play games where you can't score unless it's on a cut. You know, you have no dribble possessions. We tried to constrain our way through and help our guys understand like there are multiple ways to find these gold medal shots throughout a possession. And again, like we had some problems early in the season. We were playing fast and we felt like our quality of shot was not where it needed to be. Now if you go look at our numbers, we're like the slowest team in the Big Ten, which is like unique to us. Like I would love to play fast, but again, like leveraging what is our biggest strength, you know, it has evolved, but it's allowed us to have, you know, the most gold medals that we can get, and that's ultimately what we're striving for.
Is it true that you were there to watch somebody else when you first saw Keaton? I guess what was the conversation like with your dad or the rest of the staff? Hey, I got somebody else we need to look at.
Yeah, so Keaton played with a young man that signed to Michigan State, one of the top centers in the country. So he was obviously probably the main attraction, and went and saw him and was blown away again. I knew of Keaton, was excited to see him, but Keaton was walking out of that gym that day. It was evident to me that he was a high major player and someone that had a really, really bright future, especially as I got to know his family, some of his mental makeup. Thought he could really blossom here.
Why is this the #1 offense in the country right now by efficiency?
You know, I think I think we're just in a terms like positive progression shooting the ball. Like we're shooting the ball at a high level. I warn our guys, like we cannot fall in love with that. Like our process has to remain strong. Like there is going to be no crowning. Like ultimately why we're having success is the way we practice. Like we have to practice failure. There are going to be times in games when teams do stuff that is uncomfortable. So we have to continue to get uncomfortable offensively and do the little things, value the basketball, right? Like we're doing a good job of valuing the basketball. We're doing a good job of offensive rebounding. And then when you do those things and guys play the right way and we leverage advantages, it allows us to get those gold medals. Unfortunately, we've had some good shot making the last 6 to 8 games.
You talked about the pace changing this year. Like how else has the offense evolved? Just as you've had really highly rated offenses the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think just understanding where the biggest advantage is on the court is something that we spent a ton of time on in the off season. Like last year we played really fast and we felt like maybe we missed some of those advantages, which are like super costly, because all offensively we're doing is trying to leverage strengths to get advantage, which gets 2 on the ball, which allows us to get gold medal shots. We felt last year we got too sped up. We missed some of those advantage opportunities. So this year, I spent a ton of time, to your question earlier, like Boston was one of the slowest tempo teams in the league. Very stylistically similar to us in their matchup hunting. So we ended up slowing it down. So now our guys are seeing the matchup. We're getting to the proper spacing. And then obviously we've had a little injury problems. So rotation's gotten a little shorter. So we're playing a bit slower to keep some of those high minute guys on the court.
You talked about Boston. Are there other NBA teams that you look at to kind of model this offense towards, or is it more college-based?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the biggest thing that is changing in basketball is like spacing is always evolving. So I mentioned earlier, we call it 3 low, but we're trying to always have someone in the dunker. And one of the things we're doing is with our ability to have shooting bigs, right, is to put them on the perimeter and put guards in the dunker. That should get us, higher percentage of our layups against, guards going over to contest. I think Oklahoma City does a great job of that, just manipulating spacing. And for us, we talk a lot about we want to play, not really call plays. Like there's a lot of ways to do it successfully. Like Purdue runs tons of plays. Like they are so good at it, and Matt Painter is such a good coach. So I think just whatever you do, you have to do it really well. So we found actions that are good for us, and now we do them often. And we may get to them in different ways, but it's a lot of the same thing.
What's the key in teaching what you do offensively, since it's not as many sets and all that?
Yeah, I'm a big football fan. Like Sean McVay talks about the illusion of complexity, and I think if everyone watched us, they'd be like, "This is a lot of random." But for our guys, it's super simple. Like we want them to play free. We want them to know if this happens, I need to be here, and now we're gonna play out of this concept and if then what, basically. Like we spend so much time talking through these little scenarios, but it's super simple for our guys. I think we could go down there and you guys could be running our offense in 3 minutes.
For you personally, how have you grown? Where have you grown the most as a coach in your time here?
Yeah, just understanding variance and game-to-game swings, right? Like it's a really long season, not getting too high or too low. trying to help guys constantly solve problems, finding great joy in just the day-to-day interactions with guys, seeing these guys grow up, trying to help them on and off the court as they progress. And obviously we've been fortunate this year to have tons of success, but just to see them learning, to see them growing is something that I've found a lot of personal joy from this year.
I'm assuming this offense didn't just happen this off season. Like
Yeah.
you've been probably growing to this.
Yeah.
How did you guys grow to what you are now? I think like the matchup hunting with Marcus, or just
Yeah.
various little pieces of this we've seen all come together. How did you get to this point?
Yeah, I think it's like opposing coaches causing problems, right? Like when you hit a brick wall, you have to find a way to either charge through it or go around it. You can't get stuck. And there's been challenges in like finding new solutions, and that's where continuity is so great. Having Jake Davis, Ben Humrickhouse, Kylan, Tommy, like it's a collaborative effort. They're the ones out there playing. So being able to pick their brains, I think the one thing we've really evolved in is our screening. There's 20 ways that we set screens based on a coverage. So a lot of those micro skills, and again, that goes back to like Zach Hamer and player development, like working on all of those little things in the summer. And as a coach, that's the cool part of it, right? Like you teach and they adjust coverage, and like our play stays the same, but we make one on the fly adjustment to a screen, and like that creates advantage. And now the guys are problem solving on their own, and like that's ultimately what we strive for.
How has what you want to do offensively maybe influenced roster building, or what you're looking for when you're scouting a high school player?
Yeah. I think coach has made it abundantly clear he wants skilled players, guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. So we're fortunate to be able to put 5 guys out there. At most times that can be a threat from shooting. So that allows us to really maximize the spacing on the court. We've had guys in the past who cannot shoot, and that's great. Like they're very still impactful players. Just what their biggest strength is looks different. And again, like that's our job as an offensive room to figure out how to leverage those advantages. And we're comfortable, we're comfortable anyway. Like it's about putting our players in the best position. But I do think like the continuity and knowing guys' individual strengths has been beneficial to us.
Are you a college guy, or could you see yourself, going into the pro game in like 10 or 15 years or whatever, or do you kind of like college basketball?
No, I've put very little thought into it. Like being a part of this team every day is amazing. Like some of those pinch me moments, like winning in Mackey Arena, growing up, like obviously college basketball was a huge part of my life. Being around these guys every day, this staff I'm just trying to enjoy every single day right now.
What's it like for you just to watch what Keaton's doing? I know you guys had some expectation for him this year, but to watch this, what's this like for you guys as a staff?
Yeah, there were moments in Mackey where I was looking at Zach like, is this real? Like, is he gonna make another one? But no, it's rewarding because you know how hard he's worked. He's trusted in us. How much joy his teammates have. So to see him to be able to do it on the highest stage, and like the coolest thing about it for me was like how much joy his teammates had, right? Like a lot of times if you're a best player and you have the ball in your hands that much, there can be animosity, but like for us it was like genuine joy. And we have lots of really good players who can do things with the ball. Like their genuine joy for him, the sacrifice that we've seen, like that's like the ultimate like, wow, this is a cool team to be around moment, and like we have to continue to build on that.
What made this team right to effectively, I don't want to say eliminate, but almost eliminate the mid-range jump shot?
It's been something that we've been toying around with, for a better part of 3 years now, and I don't think we'll ever truly eliminate it. I think there's a time and place for it, especially late clock. Like Marcus Domask, it was a really, really, really big part of his game. He was really good at it. So like we never want to handicap a player. Like if you have a money go-to shot that you can make efficiently, like we're never going to eliminate it. But this team has a really good ability with Kylan and Andre. They're 2 unbelievable drivers of the basketball. So like they can constantly get rim. And then you're able to space the floor with the twins. David being a really good shooter. He's a guy who can get rim and shoot. Keaton's off the bounce shooting. It's just been, we found a healthy shot diet for us that fits this group.
You mentioned solving problems a lot. Like, do you feel like this group kind of has had an answer for most things that defenses have thrown at them?
I think we've ran into moments of trouble. I thought UConn did a good job of the hedges. Like I think we've gotten better at it. 5-way switching has been something that we've been constantly striving to get better at. And again, like I think you're going to continue to see teams do different things. But up to the point, I think we've done a good job of solving those problems. But you don't really know what the problems are until they hit you. And then again, like I do think this team has shown when there are problems that they can problem solve them and fix them.
I suppose when your dad is your boss, you got to find a way to separate the personal from the professional, right? So what's that like every day? Is there a time of day where you just got to flip the switch on or off?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's unbelievable to be able to come to work and see him every day. It's something I do not take for granted. Like it means the world to me to be able to work with him. Our working relationship is very good. He's constantly pushing me. He's someone that's always seeking new ideas, and I think that's like the biggest challenge is like giving him new ideas, having those conversations, and then we like to go home and talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's a good balance.
Could you talk about the shot making maybe in this stretch? Do you know what your gold medal shot percentage has been?
Yeah, we've been hovering between 46 and 52%. Like our goal is to be above 42 every game. We feel like if we're at 42, we're going to be in a good spot to win. The one thing that like is different is like your bronze medals. So like a lot of those are like off the bounce threes, contested shots. Like that can really swing games. But yeah, we've been around 42 to 55% in most of our games. And I actually think Purdue, our gold medal rate was lower than I would have liked.
How do you identify problem solvers and players who can adjust on the fly when you're recruiting?
This will be our last one.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to evaluation, how people, I think, again, basketball is so space-driven. I think soccer players are really good basketball players. Like, how do you manipulate space? And I think it's different for each position. If you're a ball-in-hand guy, a point guard, it's all about your processing, right? Like, Jake Davis has an unbelievable ability to manipulate space and create advantages that way. So I think forecasting, what role they're going to play is super important in terms of understanding how their brain is wired and how they solve problems.